too, 'cause it's more to what, you know, go a little bit. It's closer to it. All right. Remember, this test is worth 57 points. Now, on the part that's on the chapters, there are 32 questions, what we just did. On the comprehensive, there are 30. We said that makes more than 57 points. Yes, it does. But I take the last questions, and if you get those right, I mark off some of the ones you missed on the comprehensive before that. So I don't count them wrong, I only count them to right, the last 5, because that's not part of my points. They help you out a little bit. They're not bonus, but they help take off some ones you missed. Okay, everybody listening? Everybody got, I broke up some words, I'm gonna say some bad things about a couple of them. It's just, it is tough.
Went over the comprehensive test questions.
Here's one question, and I just showed them the right answer, but they were wrong, and they told me to change it. They sure weren't like Edward Everett. I even showed an answer test, I said, and you know what it is, but I'll read it to you, and I'll show you, and they don't even put the right answer in the choices. All right, you can write these down. Now, I'm not telling the answers now, I'm just gonna tell you, make sure you know that area, what to work on. Make sure you know what was the main thing that killed the Native Americans. Know why trade was so important between America and the colonies. Make sure you know the main crop that we made money on. What was it the first time? What was our main cash crop the first one? Yeah, see, you know. And make sure you know about Bacon's Rebellion. We talked about that. Make sure you know something about the French and Indian War. We talked about that. And then they ask a question about no taxation, about representation. You'll know that. That's an easy one. Now, this is the one that just gets my goat. This is it. Listen to this question. Just listen. You don't have to write it down. Which of the following was only legal manner that a plantation owner could procure slaves after 1808? How did they get more slaves after Jefferson said we couldn't get them from Africa anymore?
Redmond.
That's right. They don't even have them here. Here's the answer.
What?
Listen to the answer. It acquired most of its slaves from the upper South through the interstate slave trade. Well, if it's still in the South, that's not going to get you any more slaves. Somebody's not going to sell their slaves to you. How are they going to get in?
Freedom.
See, it doesn't make any difference. Well, it isn't on here, though. So, the answer number 7 is D. Just isn't that ridiculous? It doesn't even make any sense. Then the next one has to do with the cotton gin. You'll know about that. We talked a lot about that. And
Is this on multiple choice or
yes,
comprehensive?
Yes, it's multiple choice. And I'm telling you, be careful. There'll be maybe a couple answers that sound like they're the right ones, so you got to read them real careful. That's why I hate multiple choice. It's trickery. You can study and still miss it. Now you know what I'm talking about. Okay, the next one has to do with why we had to get rid of the Articles of Confederation and write the new Constitution. What was it? Didn't have the power to?
Tax.
There you go. See, you guys knew. I did a good job. Now, the next one has also to do about the Articles of Confederation, and I kind of went around this, told you, but look up Shays Rebellion. S-H-A-Y, apostrophe S, Rebellion. You'll know what we talked about, but I didn't call it that. But that's all. Okay, if I don't talk about it, I'll tell you. Okay, the next one has to do with what manifest destiny is. We talked about that. You'll know the answer to that one. Now, let me ask you this. Why would the United States government call one batch of Indian tribes civilized and another batch? Let's see what mine's going. Savages.
Because one
Why?
tribe, because of them adopting the white man's way,
Yes.
clothing and attitude.
Yes, exactly. Then you gotta know something about the War of 1812, you'll know that. Now, on the court cases, I did one and they did the other, so no, Marbury versus Madison. And I'll tell you kind of the answer to this one, because how many, and you know this, how many chief justices are on the Supreme Court? It just,
7?
no, now, I don't.
No, it's 9, yeah.
9. And what they're talking about is presidents are not allowed to pack the Supreme Court. What's that mean? You can't put any more than 9 judges in. FDR tried that once, and they were going to get him to back down. We've had presidents try to do that, and Madison one too. But it has to do with Madison versus Marbury has to do with trying to pack Supreme Court, and they're going to get him on that. You can't pack Supreme Court, and only can have 9 judges. Okay. Next one has to do with the abolitionists. And next one has to be what we were just talking about a while ago. The Nebraska, Kansas bill out Bleeding Kansas about property sovereignty. They ask it again in here, it's the same thing. And they got one, the Emancipation Proclamation, just like I got in the other one. What the other thing I don't like about the test, one question, the first one might be on the Indians, the next one would be on the Civil War. See, they don't go in order, they skip all around. Another form I took reading on my head. Now, this one you will have to look up because I didn't call it. Andrew Jackson Dash, the Tariff of Abominations. Remember we talked about what a tariff was and stuff. So look that one up. Tariff of Abominations. And then the next one's the dumbest one of all time. There's 2 in here just completely insane. I'm sorry. You know, I open my mouth, I'll probably get that. Now, you know under Madison, we talked about the War of 1812, didn't we? We talked about Battle of Cape Canaveral, Star Spangled Banner, New Orleans, burning the White House, all the important things, and guess what they select from that? They want to know under Madison why he decided not to build interstate roads. Who cares? See what I mean? Let me read you this question. Why did President Madison veto the bill that would have provided federal funds for the construction of roads and canals? Who cares? We're into the second greatest war our country ever had, and all the things that came out of that, and they're asked about why he didn't construct roads. Why do you think he didn't?
I didn't have a budget for it.
Well, it's close to that, but remember our forefathers, we debate over this now, you know, about strict interpretation of the Constitution. All our forefathers did that. Does it say anywhere in the Constitution the United States government has a right to build the roads? Does it say in the Constitution they're supposed to tell you whether gays get married or not? No. They'd die laughing over that today, wouldn't they? What's that got to do with it? See, it's not in the Constitution, but we make up different things to support everything, don't we? And that's what the Supreme Court judges are siding on now. Well, Madison said it doesn't say anything in there with the government, and it doesn't, still today. It's supposed to build the interstates. You can read all those amendments, and everything in the Constitution does say a thing about building roads. And that's the reason he decided not to do it. I have no right to do it. See? Strict interpretation of the Constitution. And they're still debating that as we speak. But I just thought that was a dumb question to ask about Madison, all the fabulous things that happened under him, and they ask about dumb roads he didn't do. I just... Okay. All right, the next one they're jumping to from the War of 1812 to Sherman's March to the Sea. You'll know that. And then they go back to the Mexican War. See? Stated. But I have to do my duty, but that doesn't mean I can't give you clues. Okay, then they talk about Vicksburg. We just talked about that being the main place they stopped them, you know, to keep from getting supplies in Mississippi. Now this one I did not talk about at all because nothing came of it. But I'll read it to you. Which of the following best describes the 1848 Seneca Falls, New York Convention on Women's Rights? What do you think happened in 1848 on women's rights? Nothing. And 1848, of course, is when the Mexican War ended and we got California and Texas. That's not important. It's important about women's rights and Neighbor Cameron Valley. I'd like to take this test, tear it up. You keep quiet. Oh, they might feel that. Well, here's the answer. The leaders of the conference issued a manifesto patterned after the Declaration of Independence, but did not pass. Well, we did. Didn't do that till 1920. Who cares? All right, next one has to do with Robert E. Lee invading the North. Of course, the only place he did that was, come on, Gettysburg. Yes, and why he did that, you know. And the last one has to do with Reconstruction and what it's all about. You know that. Now, like I said, those last 5, if you get those right, then I go back and take off any of the missed ones.
Is it just whatever information you want us to know?
Just what I told you there. Just look it up and read it through.
Like, these are the last 5, though?
No, that's the whole part of it. I went through most of it and told you about what to look up if I, you know, especially. Yeah, that first, the part that we did with the game, that's my part.
Will that part be the 5 questions, though?
No, 5 questions. Listen again. 5 questions are added on to the comprehensive part. And if you get those right, if you get them wrong, I don't count them off. But if you get them right, then it's taken off of some of the other comprehensive parts.
What if we get the entire comprehensive part and just questions on the
Well,
short
then
answer?
nothing works, but I don't think that's ever happened. But dear, if it does, that's good. You won't have to worry about taking some off with you. I hope everybody gets A's and B's. I would be delighted. If you look on those points, and when I grade them in here, it'll take me a little longer.